Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Quakes Exclusive. Coming up on today's show, we're going to break down the team's 2-1 victory over the Philadelphia Union here at PayPal Park. Plus, we've got a sit-down interview with Kade Cowell to find out about his U20 World Cup experience, and we'll explain how the Quakes can take down the Portland Timbers in their matchup coming up on Saturday. Welcome inside of Studio 74 at PayPal Park. Alongside the former Earthquakes midfielder Chris Dangerfield and World Cup reporter Carlos Yustis, I'm Kylen Mills. The San Jose Earthquakes beat the Philadelphia Union for the first time in a decade. 2-1 the final score here at PayPal Park, thanks to an absolute banger from outside back Miguel Trauco. Danger, what impressed you most about the Quakes' performance in this one?
Well, it's an entertaining game, wasn't it? I mean, I thought it was a really good game for the fans to watch, and you've got to take into account they were playing against the MLS finalists from last season, the Philadelphia Union, one of the best teams in the league, a team that's played in CONCACAF already, and they came into town with a fantastic record with a winning streak. So it's a very difficult game for the Earthquakes to try and navigate. I thought Lucci got it right. I thought he started on the front foot. Fantastic start to the game, being able to get the ball behind the Philadelphia defense. And overall, I thought that it was an entertaining game for the fans and one that was well managed by the coaching staff, and a really, really good win.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things is also what it means to the team in this part of the season, because you're facing one of the best teams in MLS, certainly one of the best teams in the East, and this is a win that kind of makes a statement. We're ready to play with these people. We're ready to make this adjustment, especially coming with 4 more games at home in the next stretch. And the Earthquakes did it really, really well, and particularly closing down the game. That's something that they haven't been able to do, especially against big teams like this one. They did it right, and also, well, that worldly strike from Trauco, what else could you ask for?
You couldn't ask for much else, that's for sure. The Quakes also came out really strong, scoring in just the 8th minute. A big factor in this matchup was the return of forward Kade Cowell, who just got back from playing with the U.S. in the U20 World Cup. Cowell's super dynamic in making diagonal runs and receiving the ball, especially early in this game. How did Cowell's movement help open up the scoring chance for the Quakes?
Well, on the goal, to start off with, Kylen, you've got to obviously give some recognition, I think, to Jeremy Abobasi as well, because he's found a way to get himself involved in the game as what we call a false 9, and he drops back into that space once again. He opens up space behind him, and then you can see the dynamic athleticism of Kade Cowell. The ball over the top is a really good ball into a space where Kade Cowell is really causing trouble for that 3 at the back. You can see where Philadelphia adjusting over, ends up having 2 players trying to close down Kade Cowell. What that does maybe cuts him off from going to goal, but he has that experience, a little bit more maturity to make the right decision, passes it back for Abobasi for the strike. It's a really good goal. It's early in the game, gives the team the lead. But more importantly, we talk about his presence on the field. I do feel that when Kade is available for the Quakes, he's on that left-hand side. It doesn't allow other teams to focus so much on Espinosa on the right-hand side. You can see later in the game, I think that the Philadelphia defense had to adjust a little bit more to make sure they took care of Kade as well as Espinosa. Espinosa was more dynamic in the second half, maybe because of that.
Now, Philadelphia did come up with the answer. Just 9 minutes later, defender Damian Lowe headed in a corner kick. The Quakes have given up a couple goals on set pieces throughout the season. How do they defend better on corners?
I mean, sometimes dead ball situations give it to you, sometimes they take it away. We just came from having a win against Seattle on a dead ball situation, and this time around you give up a goal. And I think it's a part of miscommunication. It's not so much about how you work it. There's obviously a design to mark in a certain specific way. In this one, I think that Grueso and Tanner Wiesen are together kind of marking the same spot. They don't decide who's supposed to go to that ball, and that's how Lowe ends up being by himself, wide open to net at home. And it's just a matter of keep working on it. And I say it a lot, but I think it's more concentration than anything else. This is not so much as about execution as being paying attention to those details. And these guys, they came and beat you a little bit.
The Quakes attack came alive in the second half. In the 57th minute, outside back Miguel Trauco scored an absolute banger to put the Quakes back in front. Now, Trauco's super dynamic from the outside back role. He doesn't just impact the game defensively, he also gets involved in the attack. How does Trauco's technical skills impact the Quakes game as a whole?
Well, I had to go back to pre-season on this one, Kylen, because I saw Trauco in pre-season, and I talked to Chris Leach after the game, and I was going, I'm not sure about this guy. And Chris Leach said, no, he's going to be good. He's got a great left foot. He's got a fantastic touch. He'll get up and down the left-hand side. Leachy was right. This kid is a good footballer, and he's fit enough to be able to get up and down that left-hand side, do his defensive job, but when he gets around that box, he's got the technical ability to find the right pass, find the right assist, and also the confidence you can see with that left foot to be able to strike just a golazo in that top corner. It was a fantastic goal, but more and more importantly is his overall presence and his ability to impact the game from that left-back position. He's been a good signing.
So it turns out GM Chris Leach knows what he's talking about, it sounds like.
Apparently.
I mean, you don't play in San Etienne, Flamengo, and the Peruvian national team by chance. I think that also speaks to himself.
Absolutely.
Well, Traco earned himself MLS Team of the Match Day for his work alongside Carlos Grueso. Now, the Earthquakes have given up 7 goals in stoppage time throughout the season. It's a big area of focus for this team. They look so much better in this game, closing out, playing compact defensively, and also finding moments to press. What was the difference for the Quakes?
I think, and I just said it in the last part, I think it's about focusing and concentration. Also, this is kind of sad to say it, but at the end of the day, it's also not the Quakes' fault. I think when Lowe goes out and Philadelphia has to be moved away from those 3 in the back with 5 in the middle and they have to move to a flat back 4, they didn't seem as comfortable already. And that's why in the second half, the Quakes were able to be more dynamic, find the spaces, especially on the sides. And that's how also they can find those press moments that you're talking about in getting out, because once they get into that low block, there was space on the sides, and that's one of the best place for the Earthquakes to have it, whether it was Monteiro finding on one side or it was Christian on the other side. They were able to get the ball out of the box even when they were on that low block, and that made a ton of difference. And especially also, paying attention to those balls crossing in when you're dying into the game.
I also think the performance of Grueso had a lot to do with that as well, Carlos, because he also was in that team of the match day, and his ability to just sweep in front of that back 4 as Philadelphia got more possession in the second half. He had a really good game.
A big win all around for the Quakes, and especially good performance from winger Kade Cowell. I talked to Cowell about his experience at the U20 World Cup to find out what some of his favorite memories were. We are joined now by Earthquakes forward Kade Cowell, who recently got back from playing with the United States men's national U20 team in the U20 World Cup. Kade, the World Cup, the biggest stage in soccer. What did it mean to you when you first walked out in the field with that USA crest on your jersey in Argentina?
Yeah, it definitely took me a couple breaths to take in. It was a huge moment. Obviously, my first game was the second game, so my nerves are a little bit different than the other guys, but it was a great experience overall. I loved it. Something I'll always remember.
You scored 3 goals. You were playing with a lot of confidence, really taking players 1v1. What was your mindset going into this World Cup competition?
Really just to play how I have been playing and just take that and use it to help my team. And luckily I got some good results, but I feel like I just played with a lot of confidence and it could go well.
You had a couple goals that were really fun to watch. I know back here at the office, all the Earthquake staffers were going nuts. It was really cool to see. Now, in terms of the competition, what do you take away from playing in these international games that you can apply to playing in the MLS?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty similar level, obviously. All the guys, it's the best O3s in the world. It's a really good level, and back here it's kind of very similar too. So just take that game by game and hopefully take some confidence and score some goals in MLS now too.
Yeah, there we go. Let's get it rolling.
Yeah.
Now you got to share this experience specifically in this U20 World Cup with your San Jose Earthquakes teammate Nico Chikaris. What was that like, and what were some of your favorite memories of spending time with him in this type of setting?
Yeah, I mean, Nico's obviously one of my best friends off the field, so I was really happy when he got to come in and got the call up later. I mean, my favorite memory probably was watching him score his goal at the World Cup. I mean, that was awesome. He was really excited, something he worked for. This whole beginning of the season, he had an injury, so that was kind of like his first or second game of the season, really, of the whole year. So I'm sure he was really happy.
Did you give him any advice before this competition?
No,
Have any words of wisdom for him afterwards either?
He was giving me advice.
Okay, that's how the dynamic works.
Yeah.
I guess switching back to MLS play now, new head coach, some good results so far in the season. What's been different about the vibe around the Earthquakes this season?
Yeah, I mean, pretty similar team to what we've always had, but probably just a new spark. Lucci's done a great job with getting the guys ready to go each game, and I think it's shown a lot.
During the month of June, heading into July, a really big stretch. The team has 4 of 5 matches at home. How important is it that you protect PayPal Park and really get results here?
It's very important. I mean, I think getting at least a tie at home games, if not win every time, is huge.
Okay, just for fun, what's your go-to pregame meal?
It is pasta with soy sauce.
Okay, pasta with soy sauce. Now, what's your cheat meal post-game? You've got to reward yourself somehow.
I don't really eat after the game. If I do, it's like the In-N-Out right there. But the next morning, I'll do like waffles.
Waffles?
Yeah.
That's always a good choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you have any food that you really liked in Argentina?
Obviously, I love steak, so there was a lot of steak. Tried an empanada. It was pretty good too. So just little things like that.
Awesome. All right. Well, Kade Cowell, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate you joining the show.
Thank you.
Up next, the San Jose Earthquakes host the Portland Timbers back here at PayPal Park. Portland's coming off a gritty 1-0 win over FC Dallas at home, and they also tied the Seattle Sounders just 1 week ago. Danger, what's been working well for Portland?
They're a dynamic team, but they are a team that plays better at home. I feel they got a very vocal and enthusiastic fan base that drives them on at home, but on the road, not so dynamic. They're a team that has experienced players in key positions like Charo in the midfield, who is just a tough defensive midfielder, been one of the best in Major League Soccer for many, many years. But up front, they have some speed and some craft, and goal scorers in Nesgoda, and also Bowley, and also Aspria. So it's a dangerous team, but I think that if Lucci and the Quakes continue their strong form, they should be able to get a good performance against the Portland Timbers at home.
It's going to be a little bit tougher for the Quakes to continue the strong form because they're going to be without 4 different players due to international duty. Carlos Acapo, Carlos Grueso, and Miguel Trauco will be out of the back line, and then Jamiro Montero will be missing from the attack. Who needs to step up in their absence?
I mean, some of the starters are ready, and also the players are going to come out from the bench. I mean, we always said you had to have that mentality of the next man up. I think in this particular case, having the back line completely being tweaked because you have both your outside backs out. We know Paul Marie has been doing a great job when he is being required to do so. Most likely, Tanner Beeson will stay on the lineup, come with Jonathan Mensah, who hasn't been into the squad. And then how you're going to sort out not having Carlos Grueso. I mean, we just talked about you just come from having a match day performance, and now you have to cover for him. So whoever needs to step in that role has some big shoes to fill. And then also having Espinosa, Jackson, Jeremy keep being productive for the team.
It's also important to note Portland's only going to be missing 2 players. How do you expect that to impact their strategy, Danger?
Well, not as much, obviously. Mosquera is going to be missing in the midfield, but they have cover for that. They have quite a lot of similar players in those positions. In the goalkeeper position, Ivasic is going to be called out. That means David Bingham will be playing in goal for Portland, so the Earthquakes fans will be able to see David back here at PayPal Park. But I think that Lucci certainly has a lot more to juggle in his players that are missing than the Portland Timbers do.
To wrap things up, one player to watch in this match. Who you got, Carlos?
I think it's going to be Jackson Jewell. I mean, he's been fantastic for the team, but he's been very productive because he has Carlos Grueso most of the time helping him out there. Now he's going to have to try to help. Most likely it's going to be Baldissimo who's going to take that center defensive midfielder role. He's going to have to come and be that link to be able to distribute, to help Nico Shakiris probably on their side too, or whoever takes that role for Jamiro Montero. And he's the one that's going to be the link between being able to be in front of the defenders and defend well, and then push the ball forward.
Yeah, in a similar fashion, I think Mensah coming in, I believe he'll come in and play alongside Rodriguez again. And I think that partnership has been very good early in the season. Jonathan's been out, but he's going to come back in. I think he's a key to make sure that partnership is back on track. Maybe, Lucci's got the option of playing 3 at the back. I don't think he'll do it. I think he'll juggle things around to bring Paul Marie in. But at the same time, I think if Jonathan plays, I think he will be a key player to make sure that the team is extremely well disciplined and organized at the back.
A player to watch is defender Tanner Beeson. He's really stepped up in the back line. With the Quakes missing 4 different players, especially 3 key starters on defense, Beeson's going to have to elevate his game even more. He's not necessarily the paciest player, however, he's really smart in terms of where to be. He's in the right place at the right time, and he also really times his tackles well. He's strong in terms of winning balls out of the air. He can help solidify this back line if he plays well in this matchup. All right, to close out the show, we got a little treat in-house. Have to celebrate the win over Philadelphia with some Philly cheesesteaks. Carlos, while I try this, you got to tell us, where did these come from?
This is from Amatos, which is a sandwich shop here in San Jose, and they have the best cheesesteak in town. Obviously, I couldn't bring them all the way from Philly, but this is the best thing. And of course, how you win, how's that taste? Like 3 points.
Hey, pass me the Traco sauce. We're going to put some Traco sauce on this one. This is for me because I got the prediction correct. A 2-1 win against Philadelphia last match day. Cheers.
Well, the Earthquakes host the Portland Timbers here at PayPal Park at 7:30 on Saturday. If you can't be here in person, be sure to watch the game on Apple TV's MLS Season Pass. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Quakes Exclusive. We got to go because it's lunchtime, so we'll see you next week.